Hello friends and welcome. Are there some things that you loved doing a couple of decades ago but which you don't love so much now? Well, a few days before Thanksgiving I spent a wonderful few hours with my longtime best friend Joyce, who lives in another state. We reminisced about giggling inappropriately during church while we sat next to each other in the junior choir, and about some things we used to love doing but which we don't do anymore. And one of those things was wearing turquoise eyeshadow back in the 1980s. And I have a hunch that most of you have also been adieu to that look. So today we're going to focus on some makeup don'ts that don't serve our mature skin and features well now. Since I know a number of you are new to this channel, I want to extend a special, very warm welcome. And I also want to welcome back those of you who regularly stop by. I so appreciate you. Well, as a working professional makeup artist, my mission and passion is sharing makeup tips, techniques, and product suggestions that work for us now at this stage of our lives. And along the way, we also occasionally take a plunge into the worlds of fashion and wellness. So now, let's dive into today's topic, starting with our eyebrows. Many of us have definitely looked in a mirror and noticed a few white or gray brow hairs that weren't there yesterday. And we may have also noticed that our once thick brows are now a shadow of their former selves. Well, we definitely want to fill in our brows since they frame our face and enhance our features. But there's definitely a sweet spot. Brows that are too severe or heavy can definitely age us and even make us take on the look of an evil Disney character. Think Snow White. I'm going to fill in my right eyebrow so it's a little too dark and heavy so you can firsthand see what I'm talking about. First, I'm going to add a little bit more of the darker shade from my ABH Brow Powder Duo. Now I'm going to take some of e.l.f.'s Wow Brow in the shade, I think it's Brunette. I'll double check on that. Now, as you probably know, this adds additional volume to brows by adding fiber. A recent study found that 70% of men and women first notice a person's eyes when they meet someone. So making sure that our eyes look their best is pretty darn important. Well, thank goodness eye primer came on the scene a couple of decades ago because it's something that we don't want to go without. But it needs to be a tinted eye primer that matches our skin rather than a clear eye primer. Eye primer not only prevents our eyeshadow from creasing and smudging, but a tinted eye primer covers up the redness, discoloration, and blue veins that start to show through our eyelid skin as that skin gets thinner as we get older. In essence, it works the same way a paint primer works when you apply it on a wall before painting. Our eye primer helps our eyeshadow go on evenly, so the color on our lids isn't lighter in one area and darker in another area. I'm going to go ahead and apply my eye primer on my left eyelid from the lash line to the brow so you can see what a difference it makes. It will make our entire eye area look brighter and bigger, which is exactly what we want. Now, since most of us have oily eyelids because there are oil glands right down here next to our lashes, I am going to just pat off any excess oil. It's amazing how I can have super dry skin on the rest of my face and yet really oily eyelids. I'll never forget one day at work when I was actually wearing that turquoise eyeshadow. And not only did it not look very good, but within hours it also creased and smudged, so it looked even worse. Now, there are several really good eye primers, but the one that I find to be quickest and easiest is one from Sigma. It's their eyeshadow base. And you definitely want to use an eyeshadow base that is matte and that has no sparkle or shine to it. And I'm just patting it in. I want to stretch this thin skin as little as possible. And this is a color called Ignite, which actually has more of a yellow base. And the color that would probably be better for me with my cool tone skin is one called Persuade, which has more of a pink base. But it also helps eyeliner stay in place, so that's a good thing as well. Now I want to show you the difference between my two eyes. So I'm going to close my eyes and then we'll go in real close. So this is the eye with eye primer. I'm also going to apply a slight amount of powder across my left eyelid area so my powder eyeshadow will glide on evenly and smoothly. Powder always applies better over other powder. And for this, I'm going to use the powder in another one of my favorite products. It includes an eye primer and powder. And the other wonderful thing about this product is you get 2 shades so you can customize your color. The founder of this brand, whose name is Mario, which makes sense, it's makeup by Mario, and he was a makeup artist, and he started as a makeup artist working at Sephora. So his brand is carried exclusively at Sephora. I love the convenience of having the powder in with the eye primer. It comes in a light, a medium, a tan, and a deep. I think those are the 4. Now, let's go ahead and apply eyeshadow. I'm going to use one of the least expensive, but one of the best powder eyeshadow palettes that has shades that are universally flattering. Those of you who have watched my videos know exactly what eyeshadow palette I'm going to use. Yep, it is e.l.f.'s bite-size eyeshadow palette called I Love You a Latte, which costs exactly $3. As you can see, I've hit pan on the lightest shade, which I use all the time, so I have recently purchased a couple more of these. Taking the lightest shade all the way across my lid, just up to the crease area. And I'm also going to put a little bit under the arch of my brow. This really helps my eyes look bigger and brighter. And in the crease, I'm going to apply a combination of the 2 mid-tone shades. I'll use these 2 mid-tone shades in the center. One of my absolute favorite eyeshadow brushes is this one from Sigma, which is their E25. It just fits perfectly in that crease area. And I'm lifting it a little bit to give myself a little bit more color on this end. And that's very purposeful because I want to help lift the eye. And by lifting the eyeshadow, it helps lift the eye. Now I'm going to apply the deepest shade to the outer part of my lid and crease. I'm just going to stamp it on. And then this is an angled brush. I'm just going to turn it up, and it's great for reaching into that crease area. On my right eye, I've not applied eye primer or powder, and I'm going to apply the 2 mid-tone colors across my entire lid and the deepest color in my crease and outer lid. So I'm completely ignoring the lightest color on this side. And I don't know about you, but in my early days of applying makeup, I definitely would put a dark color in this area. Now we'll focus on the biggest don't for eyeshadow, and that mistake is not blending our eyeshadow enough. If we don't blend it in enough, there will be sharp edges and harsh lines, and we want our eyes to have a soft gradient of colors rather than any harsh edges. So on my left eye, I'm going to blend and then blend again. And I'm using a fluffier brush to do this blending. I'm going across all the edges, including in the eyelid area where I transitioned from a lighter shade to a deeper shade. Don't want there to be any line where you can see where I did that. And if you feel you need to blend it in just a bit more, you can take the eyeshadow brush that you used to apply the light color and use it to go over the edges. Since there's still a small amount of the lightest eyeshadow color on this brush, it will create an even softer look with definitely no harsh edges. I usually almost always end up doing this just because I usually want the softest possible look. I think you can see what a difference that made. And I'm also going to just tap on the lid here. Again, so there's no dividing line between the darker shade and the lighter shade. Now, I won't do this blending on the right eye so you can see the difference. Let's take a close-up look. It almost hurts me to leave this eye looking this way. The eyeliner I'll apply on my left eye will be dark brown eyeshadow, and the color I'll apply to my right eye will be black. Black eyeliner can sometimes look a bit harsh on our mature eyes, and brown eyeshadow can look a little bit softer. Now I'm actually using the dark brown shadow from the I Love You a Latte palette. Just going to go as close as possible to my bottom lashes. And the wonderful thing about using a brush is that if you aren't perfectly drawing a line, which I certainly am not, you can use the brush to just blend it in so it all looks like it's perfect. Using a brush like this and blending it out also gives a softer look. I'm catching a look at my right eye in the monitor, and I'm really not liking what I'm seeing. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply the black eyeliner on the right eye. Now, just because I prefer using a brush to apply eyeliner, I'm getting this black eyeliner on my brush first. You certainly can just apply it from the eyeliner, but this is my favorite method of application. And then I'm just going to go back in with the pencil itself. Underneath the left eye, I'll apply a lighter shade of brown eyeshadow just on the outer 1/3. I combine the two mid-tone colors with just a touch of the deeper brown, and I'm going to bring it naturally up here, and I want it to meet the upper line. And then I'm just going to softly tap on it to blend it in. On the right eye, I'll apply black eyeliner all the way across the lower eyelid. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply mascara on both eyes, and I'll be right back. Face makeup is next. I think these photos really say it all. Younger skin is bright and glowing skin. But as we get older, our skin gets duller. So bringing some glow back to our skin via a face primer with glow, a foundation with glow, or a highlighting product can make a world of difference. On the left side of my face, I've already applied my current favorite glow-producing products, which are from NIRA Beauty. Their Great Skin Glow Serum, followed by their Great Skin Priming Moisturizer. If you have oily skin, you'd apply just 1 pump of this product, but for dry skin like mine, 2.5 to 3 pumps of the Glow Serum worked really well. If you have oily skin, you'd apply just 1 pump of the Glow Serum product, but for dry skin like mine, 2.5 to 3 pumps. Over it, I applied 1 pump of my Merit Great Skin Moisturizer. Now on the right side, I applied a very good face primer from makeup artist Eve Pearl, but it's a primer that doesn't have glow. The foundation I'll apply on my left side is the foundation that definitely has some glow. It's Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Foundation. Now, this is quite honestly an experiment because I've never applied a foundation with glow over the Merit Great Skin Glow Serum and Moisturizer, so this may end up being a blinding glow on the left side, but let's give it a try and see what happens. But before we do, let's take a close-up look and see the glow that the Glow Serum provides on the left side of the face. With the Glow Serum, and then here's the right side without the Glow Serum. I'm going to shake this up really well. I almost started applying it to both sides. Okay, we just want it on this side. It's hard to overcome old habits, isn't it? I always start on my right side. And I'm just going to press it in first, especially where I need the most coverage, which is in the middle of my face. And then I'm going to buff. This really is what melds the foundation into the skin, is the buffing. And bring it down slightly onto my neck. On the right side, I'm going to use a matte foundation from Wet n Wild. It's their Photo Focus foundation, which also comes in a dewy formula. In fact, when I use this foundation, I usually apply a small bit of the matte foundation with a small bit of the dewy foundation, and I get just the right look that I'm looking for. But today, we're going all matte. Once again, it's important to shake a liquid foundation. This is really an amazingly good drugstore foundation. All right, let's take a look at these two sides of my face up close. Here's the matte side with the Wet n Wild foundation, and here's the side with the Glow Serum and the Glow Foundation. Now, I'm not seeing as much glow as I thought I would see combining these two products, but there is definitely a difference. You know, to be honest, I don't think this foundation is working very well with the Glow Serum. There could be some ingredients in the Glow Foundation that simply don't work as well. This is interesting because when I've used this Glow Serum with other foundations, it's worked well. So it just goes to show you always have to experiment a little bit to see if products work on top of each other well. Not necessarily do they do so all the time. And this is also interesting because this is really emphasizing my pores over here. Wow, okay, obviously these products don't work together so well, but I think you can see that there is more glow, and I have definitely seen a glow when I've used it with other foundations. Now, if you have oily skin, too much glow will pretty much look like an oil slick as the day wears on, so you want to be sure to apply just a small amount of the Merit Glow Serum. In order to find the right amount of glow for your skin, it will be necessary to experiment in order to create the perfect glow recipe for you. And as we've seen from today's experiment, you really have to see what foundations work with what products. Well, before we dive into our next important makeup category, I hope you'll hit that thumbs up icon to let YouTube know if you're enjoying today's video. And I also hope you'll tap that subscribe icon if you haven't already subscribed. Thank you, I so appreciate it. Do you remember the days of quickly being able to swipe on powder blush and call it a day? Well, for most of us, the easy powder blush solution of our 20s and 30s has gone the way of carbon paper and the card catalog. This is because as our skin becomes thinner, less elastic, and more prone to fine lines due to the decreasing collagen and elastin production, powder blush can end up emphasizing texture, accentuating wrinkles, looking splotchy, and making our skin look drier. But we can keep our skin glowing and gorgeous by using the right blush that hydrates and has a lightweight formula that doesn't settle into fine lines. Cream reigns supreme, as does liquid blush that melts into the skin. Also crucial is our placement of the blush and the blush color that we choose. The right blush will look gorgeous because it will look beautiful with the undertone of our skin, which can be warm, neutral, or cool. And if you're not sure of the undertone of your skin, be sure to watch this video, which will help you determine your skin's undertone, which is very important not only for blush, but also for lipstick. I've pinned a link to this video in the comment section below and also listed it in the description box. Now, if you have a cool undertone, go with pink, raspberry, berry, mauve, and blue reds for both blush and lipstick. And great shades for warm undertones are peach, coral, brick red, or orange red. And for those of you with a neutral undertone, you can wear either warm or cool shades, but just not the deepest and brightest versions of those colors. Do you remember hearing that blush should be applied on the apples of our cheeks? But ladies, where have those apples gone? We want blush to help lift our face, and we can do that by applying it along the center of our cheekbone and sweeping upward toward the temple. On the left side, I'll apply one of my favorite liquid blushes from e.l.f. in the shade Pinky Promise. Now, since liquid blush is highly pigmented, you have to be a little bit careful with the application. So I put just a dot on the back of my hand, and I'm going to pick it up with a brush and then dab it on. And I want to really coat the brush evenly with the blush. So I'm spending quite a bit of time blending the blush into the brush. That's hard to say. Okay, so I'm going to go here in the middle of my cheekbone and then go upwards. Now, what I always do with blush is I take my foundation brush and go over the edges, again, just so there are no harsh lines. And the good thing is that if you get too much blush, you can just pat on the foundation over it, and that will really calm the look down a bit. Now, as you can see, that looks so natural. It looks like it really is coming from within my skin and not just laying on top of my skin. On the right side, I'll go with powder blush that's definitely the wrong color for me. It's from Physicians Formula Ultimate Muro Butter Collection that dates from a few years back and includes bronzers, blushes, highlighters, lipsticks, and eyeshadows. I'm wondering if any of you happen to have this particular Physicians Formula collection. It's really amazing with the number of products that are in here. The panels slide open, and here are all the products that are in here. It's amazing. This will just give you a sense. So I'm taking two peachy colored shades and just applying it here. Now, I don't know if this is coming across in the video, but I can really see this powder emphasizing my pores and lines. And it is totally the wrong color for me as well. Now I'm going to go around the edges as I did on the other side. But even after I do that, it looks to me like the powder is just literally sitting on my skin rather than blending into my skin. Ooh, that color is hard to look at on my skin tone. I combine the Physicians Formula colors called Natural Glow with Beachy Peach. I'm so used to applying my blush in a certain way that I did not apply it on the apples of my cheeks, so let me do that. Oh my goodness, this just drags my face down so much. Here's the blush applied going upward toward my temple, which lifts my face. And here's the blush that's sitting on the apples of my cheeks, which brings the skin downward. Next up is powder. Many of us always saw our mothers applying powder over their entire face, but how much powder and where we apply it very much depends on our skin type. Too much powder on our dry skin can make our skin look patchy, cakey, and overly textured, and accentuate visible dry flakes. And talk about cakey and overly textured, that's what I also saw with this powder blush. Well, I'm going to strategically apply powder only where I need it in my T-zone on the left side, and I'll apply too much powder on the right side. So this is what I would normally do on my left side, just go in my T-zone. And then on my right side, I'm going to powder all over. Just see my skin looking drier by the second. Oh, can't believe how this emphasizes lines and pores. Goodness, such a difference. And then without the powder, just in the T-zone, it looks so much better. Since our lips get smaller and less defined as we get older, lip liner that matches our lipstick color makes a really positive difference. Lip liner defines our lips beautifully, and we can even make our lips look slightly larger by applying the lip liner on the outer edge of our lip line rather than just applying it on the lip line itself. Just this very small difference in where we apply our lip liner can definitely make our lips appear fuller. We also want to avoid a nude lipstick in the wrong undertone, since we will look our very best with a color that complements the undertone of our skin and which provides some contrast between our lips and cheek color. If we go with a nude lip color in the wrong undertone, our skin and lip color will blend in and there really won't be much contrast. And according to a fascinating research study, it's facial contrast that makes us more attractive to other people. So on the left side of my lips, I'm going to apply my lip liner on the outer edge of my lip line first with my L'Oreal Age Perfect Lip Liner in the shade Splendid Plum. This is hard to do just one side of my lips. And one other thing that's so important to use is a lip balm, which I did not use, and you can see what a difference it makes. My lips look so chapped, and that's because in the cold weather, wow, that will happen so quickly. Now I'm going to apply a lipstick color that works with the undertone of my skin and then apply a gloss on top of it. I'm going to use a color that I recently purchased during the Sephora sale. It's from Lawless, and the lip color is called Candy Girl, and I really love it. And I'm going to apply a little bit of a slightly darker lipstick called Violet Volt, which is from Milani. And over it is another brand new lip gloss I got during the Sephora sale. It's also from Lawless, and it's called Dezette. It has a beautiful glow to it. I'll go lip liner free on the right side and use a lip color from Makeup by Mario satin lipstick line called Flat Iron, which is a warm beige. And warm beige is definitely the wrong undertone for me, and it's also way too pale. And I'll also skip applying gloss on this side. And here's the right lipstick and gloss that works with my cool undertone. And this is the lipstick from Makeup by Mario that I'll be using. Oh my goodness. Oh, it almost makes me look ghostly. It does match the blush really well, but that's all I can say for it. Here's the wrong color, which does not work with the undertone of my skin. And here's the color that does work with the undertone of my skin. Hair and lips that look too severe can also be a don't. And although it's definitely easier and more natural to continue wearing the same look we've worn for years, refreshing our look by trying a new hairstyle, a new lip or blush color can not only update our look, but also simply be great fun. And what's more important than that? After all, makeup is a wonderful form of self-expression that shouldn't stop when we reach a certain age. Well, that's it for today, and I'm so glad you joined me. Until we see each other again, I wish you good health and happiness, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Take care.